Let's preview! This Sunday, Liverpool are at home and taking a visit from Crystal Palace. And again, things are not looking good on the injury front. Nothing has been confirmed as of right now. And I'm talking at about 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. So by the time this video comes out, something will have to have been announced, I think. Because at the moment, it looks like not only will we have Lallana, Henderson and obviously Mane out injured, but we could also have Lucas, Joel Matip and Ragnar Klavan. Which is ace, considering the team that we're facing has Mamadou Sakho in it. Now, he's probably going to be ineligible. I hope he's friggin' ineligible for this game. I do not want to be us coming up against Sakho. I really, really don't. It's so ironic that, like, our defence, and there are rumours as well that Lucas and Matip and possibly Klavan are winning their battles for fitness ahead of Sunday, and they'll probably face, you know, late fitness tests and all that sort of stuff, like would normally happen when they've just been injured or they've had a few niggles. First off, actually, as well, we're having like one game a week. How are they getting injured so much? How can we have 6 players possibly injured? Lallana, Henderson, Mane, obviously that was, you know, Mane was in game. Henderson, Lallana, I think that was with England duty and stuff like that. But Lucas, Matip and Klavan, what are you doing? Yes, you're going to have to train hard. Absolutely, totally understand that. But 3 injuries, come on. And especially, like, I think Matip is my favourite, you know, our favourite centre-back, my favourite centre-back, because of the cool head that he always brings to the defence and, you know, translates that to the midfield and the goalkeeper as well, and whoever he's alongside. I think it's absolutely vital. Now, there's rumour that Joe Gomez and Dejan Lovren could partner, which is slightly concerning only because of Gomez's experience. I think he has the potential to be a great centre-back. That he really does. He's still only 19 years old. You partner him with Lovren, yeah, that's okay. That's not too bad. I would rather, if you're going to bring Gomez into the team, partner him with Matip. Partner him with Matip. Now, you know, if I could choose, I would put Lovren and Matip. I think that should be our defensive pairing for the rest of the season. Let's get some consistency in these last couple of games. But if that's not the option that we can have, Klavan sometimes has a good match. Sometimes really, really, really doesn't. There's no grey area, okay? There's no middle ground. He either has a really good game or he really doesn't, okay? I think we can all agree on that. He doesn't really have a middle, like, okay, he's had an okay game, you know, he's been covered a lot by, you know, his other defensive partner and all that lot as well. I think if you're going to bring Joe Gomez into this game, it's a lot of pressure on the lad, who hasn't really played a great deal at all since last year because of the injury that he had. He hasn't played a great deal at all. You're going to be putting him in there against the likes of, well, let's just even one, against Christian Benteke, who I am still, go back and watch my transfer videos, because I didn't want us to sell Benteke. I thought he would have been a good option. And I'm looking back now, I'm looking at January, and I'm thinking, January would have been a nice month to have someone like Benteke. When you've got to change your style of play, oh, what a difference that could have made. And Klopp himself has come out and said that he is probably one of their biggest danger men. He's not their only danger, but he's a big danger man that we saw in training. And I'm like, well, why'd you sell him? Why? If you saw all this, why'd you sell him? I wouldn't have sold him. I didn't want us to sell him. I didn't want us to sell him to Crystal Palace, because Crystal Palace coming towards the end of the season, we're in a vital place where we could be looking at Champions League qualification. What does this have echoes of? 2013, 2014, we faced Crystal Palace near the end of the season. What happened? We were 3-0 up, and it came back to 3-3. Somehow, Dwight Gale, who's tearing it up a little bit with Newcastle in the Championship, comes on and he tears at us an arsehole so wide, it made Luis Suarez cry. Let's just put that into perspective. This is a man that has bitten people, you know, and he says he's done it by accident or he fell into their shoulder. Broke down crying. Steven Gerrard had to move cameras out of the way and put his t-shirt over his head so that he wouldn't see it. But come on. You know, it's another mental block team as well, because yes, we did well against them earlier this season, but we were on fire at the time and we still conceded 2 goals. I can't even remember who it was that scored. It might have been Scott Dan. I'm really not sure. But they are a dangerous team. We scored 4 goals, thankfully. You know, But we were on fire at the time. We had Henderson in the team providing that beautiful pass for Firmino. Like we had a lot of different things going on, but we cannot now dwell on the fact that I've covered we've got a fair few injuries possibly. And now what do we do with the team? Lucas has been very good in midfield. Like, you put him in midfield, ironically, in his position where he's meant to play, he's going to play pretty damn well. Or he should at least. He's the most experienced player, like Liverpool player, that we have, who's been at Liverpool the longest. That would have been key. That would have been absolutely key. It depends as well how they're going to set up. Are they going to go back to, 4 at the back? Are they going to go for a 3? You're going to have to go 4 at the back if you've got, if you've got 2 defenders out, in Matip and Klavan. Lucas, who sometimes plays there, but I really don't put him in defence. Do not put him in defence. Bring Joe Gomez in. Fine. Absolutely fine. Dejan Lovren, yeah, okay, he can have some blinding games as well. But he tends to have his better games with Matip alongside him. So that's an iffy one right there. I think everybody else, as far as we're aware, though, is fit. So that could be okay. It just means that maybe what are we going to do in terms of options for replacing Lucas primarily. If we're going to go with the fact that they're all going to be injured, and I'm a person that likes to, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. Now, I'm preparing for the worst, that Lucas, Matip and Klavan are going to be on the sidelines for this game. Joe Gomez and Lovren. Gomez has got quite a bit of pace about him, bit of physicality about him as well. Lovren, as I said before, can be good, can have really blinding games, can also suck quite a bit though. So it again depends on what mentality they're going to enter this game. Nathaniel Klein at right back, and this is where you get some options coming in, because it depends how you set up, how are you going to replace Lucas in midfield. Also depends, I'm planning as if this is going to be the 4-3-3 that we usually play. That's what I'm thinking. So that, if we end up doing a 3-5-2 or whatever, or 5-3-2, whatever people want to call it, if we end up doing that, I don't really know how it's going to set up. But if we're going to go 4-3-3, left back, Milner, does he stay in there? For me, yes, because he's been so consistent there. People are talking about you could put Milner into midfield, and it's like, yes, that's fine, that's fair enough. And he's a very versatile player. But even Milner, as versatile as he is, hasn't played in midfield for us since, I don't know when. Was he in midfield for the the beginning of the match when we were against Stoke? I think that was it. And that was the first half. We weren't very good. So I'd be more inclined to put Milner at left back. Not saying he's a designated left back now after his career in midfield, but he's much better for us there than any of our other options. Sorry, Alberto Moreno, you've not been involved enough. You've not been involved enough to get into this team for me, I don't think. I would have loved to have seen him get a shot a few weeks back. I'd have loved to have seen him get a shot in January, but he didn't. So there you go. I would still put Milner at left back. Now, if you're coming into midfield, you're still going to have Emre Can and Wijnaldum in there. They're definitely going to be in there as far as we're aware right now. Fingers crossed nothing else happens. Okay, we can't handle any more injuries, especially against Crystal Palace, such a physical team. But they've got Andros Townsend and they've got Wilfried Zaha as well. And we've got to be able to contain those guys, especially Zaha, who is, he looks like he's coming into where he is in a great deal of form. He's playing very well. And he's playing like the player that Manchester United thought they were buying a couple of seasons ago. So, who do you put in there with them? Me? I don't know. I really don't know. Because then you have to go to the likes of... You'd probably have to go with like Kevin Stewart, or you can go with Marco Grujic. Now, I'm a big Marco Grujic fan. He's a young lad, and he's... I won't forget. He comes off the bench against Barcelona in that pre-season game and scores that looping header. Possibly a lucky header. But he's played very well in pre-season, and it's gutting that he hasn't really been able to get involved in the team a great deal. I think he played like 15 minutes at Burnley, and then that's kind of it, because he's been injured. I'd love to see him get a shot, but is it going to be too soon for him? Now, he'd be lucky in that he'd have Emre Can and Wijnaldum, 2 hard-working people, in that midfield with him. So maybe you'd be able to cover that a little bit, get him back into the team. It's a bit of a baptism of fire, though, to put him in there after so long out, and to start a game against Crystal Palace, Premier League. It could be alright. I'm not entirely sure. This is where I'm hoping that Lucas is going to be fit, because then Lucas is a shoo-in. If Lucas is fit, he's in that midfield with those guys. No question. No question. But if not, I'm going to have to go with Marco Grujic, because your only other option is Well, you could do this, actually. You could take that idea and move it to one side for now. Still got Emre Can and Wijnaldum in there. You could drop Coutinho into the midfield. Just an idea. You could drop him into the midfield and you put Sturridge in attack. Who'd you move anywhere? For me, Sturridge hasn't got the legs anymore. You put Sturridge up front, you put Origi on the left, you put Firmino on the right. Or vice versa, you put Firmino on the left, Origi on the right. Whichever way. That's the way it would work for me, because I think Origi's got a bit more legs than Sturridge has. Sturridge, if I'm going to have Sturridge on there, I want him in and around that box as much as possible. I don't want him having to drop down the right or left. I don't want him having to try and think about doing defending. I want him thinking about, how can I score a goal, or how can I provide? Because that is exactly what Sturridge should just be doing. I don't want him running up and down the pitch. You know, he can't do that anymore. If we end up doing that with Sturridge, he's going to be subbed off after like 45 minutes. First half was done, and he's going to have to come off because he's not going to be, for me, he's not going to be able to do 90 minutes if you play him like that. You know, we do have options though. You drop Coutinho into midfield. He's a very versatile player, very, very good player, and he can dictate and pull the strings. He seems to, sometimes I think he is our number 10. So, you know, he's going to have to maybe actually playing the number 10 role. That could do him some good. Playing a bit different position. Is it his favoured position? I'm not entirely sure. Playing out on the left, is it for him? He'd done quite well out there. Dropping him into midfield, could that have an adverse effect? Would that then maybe take away from his game, what he's done so far this season? I'm not entirely sure, but we've got the options there. We have no excuses not to be able to field some sort of very, very good squad. Because even with that last idea of dropping Coutinho in there, bringing Sturridge in and Origi, that's a strong attack. That's a strong midfield in general. Okay back four. And goalkeeping situation, I still imagine it'll be Mignolet. I can't imagine anything else. But the most important thing are the 3 points. And I don't care how we get them. I really, really don't. The thing that has me a little bit better, in a better state of mind than it would be going way back to when we, blew it against Crystal Palace years ago, is the way that we can win. Now, we can go out there and we can play some good attacking football. But what we've shown against Stoke and West Brom and Crystal Palace, we're going to have to show it against them big style. I would say that West Brom are the most difficult team to play out of those three, out of Stoke, West Brom and Crystal Palace. I would have said that West Brom are the most difficult because you look at where they are in the league this year. They're sitting in 8th place, I think. That's very, very good for a Tony Pulis side. I think it might be one of the highest that he's ever placed so far. I just think that it's there for the taking for us. Christian Benteke is going to probably want to be proven a point. Bearing in mind, I don't know if Crystal Palace have any injuries. I've not looked into that, but I'm preparing for the worst, which is their best. Okay? So, if they've got Benteke, if they've got Zaha, if they've got Andros Townsend in their attack, yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult. If they play to be fair, I was going to say, if they play anywhere like they did against Arsenal, yeah, it's going to be a difficult time, but we'd also have to then play like Arsenal did, and they played pretty shocking. Let's be honest. I'm hoping we put in a performance similar to the West Brom one, but give away fewer chances, because when you've got someone up top like Benteke coming up against you, that's difficult. That really is difficult. He's one of the best, if not the best in the Premier League at winning aerial balls, holding up the ball, bringing other people into play, which is why you're seeing pretty good play out of Zaha now, because you've got Benteke taking that lead role, people give him the ball, he can hold it up, wait for them to come in, and that it's going to be difficult. It really is going to be difficult. And the back four, whoever that back four is, are going to have to be well drilled. Now, I've said it a couple of weeks ago, in that when we start attacking, I want the defence to keep their discipline and stay back, purely because I know, yes, if Matip is in the game, if he's out the game, whatever, our defenders like to try and take that ball, because Crystal Palace or someone like that, if they sit back off us, we're going to have to advance a little bit. But you can't advance too far when you've got the likes of Townsend and Zaha, who have a hell of a lot of pace. Zaha's got a hell of a lot of technique as well. And we don't have a great deal. I think apart from Nathaniel Klein, we don't have a great deal in defence in terms of pace. So we've got to be careful. And this is what I'm saying. I don't want the defenders, normally it's particularly Lovren and Matip, like to stride through into that midfield and maybe lay off a pass. You misplace a pass, bang. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to try and fire it long and get it to Benteke. Where can they go from there? That is the first thing, and that's always got to be on the back of your mind. How are they going to do this? And this is where whoever's in midfield as well, Emre Can or Wijnaldum, are going to maybe have to drop back a little bit and give protection to the back four. I don't know. It's a big game though. It's a massive game because we need the 3 points. We need 3 points every single day, right up until someone turns around and says Liverpool have they've secured top 4, and that might be last day of the season. That might be last day of the season. This is going to be a hell of a tight game, and I said that about West Brom as well. I think I said it about Stoke as well. This is going to be a very tight game, and I think it's going to be another one. It's going to have to be another example of how to win ugly, and that's what we're going to have to do. It's not going to be an easy game whatsoever. It's going to be very physical. They're going to be at us, we're going to be at them, and we're going to have to be at them. But I think with our attacking edge that we have up front, with the midfield that we could field, it may cover a little bit for the back four that we have, depending on what the injury situation is on Sunday afternoon. I don't know what that's going to be. It's Saturday morning. I can't see into the future, but I'm preparing for the worst. I'm hoping for the best and that we're going to get Matip and we're going to have Lucas in there. But I don't think that's going to happen, if I'm being truthful. I think Liverpool will win this one. I really do. It's going to be tough, and I'm going for a 1-0. It's what we got to get against West Brom. We've got 2-1 against Stoke. We sit 1-goal margins. I don't care if it's entertaining or not right now. I really, really don't. We're at home. I don't care if it's going to be, are we going to be blasting like 20 shots at goal? Don't care. All that matters to me is the one stat that should matter to anyone. Did we score, and have we got the 3 points? That's 2 stats, but still. Okay. Did we score, and have we got the 3 points? That is the main thing right there. Do you think that Liverpool can win this game? Who do you think is going to win this game? I'm going to leave a poll up here for you to answer as well. But let me know what you think in the comments below, Liverpool and Crystal Palace fans. This is going to be a difficult game. Vital for both teams as well. Us, top 4, Crystal Palace, relegation battle. It's going to be big. Big Sam is difficult to play against as well. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like the video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you ever so much for watching as always. And I'll catch you later.